What's up? Are you making choices daily? Are you deciding what to do? Are they actually your own? Well, you're in luck because today we're going to talk about are you really making your own choices? The Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Danny here, with my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
Yo, Danny.
Yeah, I thought this was a good one because, like, I don't know. I think about this a lot because anymore I feel like we're so surrounded by pressures, ads, expectations, community, all this stuff that, like, it is really hard to know, like, what of my choices are actually my own. Like,
Dude, it's so true. I was thinking about that recently, this week or last week, because there's this new advertisement that I saw. And they say like you need to have something presented to you 7 or 8 times before you're willing to say yes. And so I just
yeah.
started counting like how many times it came up. And it's like I'm like right around at 8 times already in the past week. And I'm like, man, this is crazy because I don't have the original opinion I had of it anymore. And
Because you
it's like,
see,
well, if I ever need that type of thing, that's probably the brand I'm going to think of.
well, that's what happens, right? Because there is actually that psychology where you get used to it, and that becomes
Hmm.
like the norm for that thing. And you know what's crazy? I was thinking about this because I don't usually watch like regular TV anymore, like cable and all, with the streaming services and all. But we had on a movie and it was on the regular one, and I noticed that like every commercial block, it was the exact, like they had bought the exact same ads in the exact same order. And I was like, so you've seen now, by the time this is done, you've seen these ads already 8 or 9 times. Like,
Yep.
it's insane. And yeah, so that kind of stuff, like, and I think we all like to think we're above it. Like, this won't affect me. Like, no, I'm making this choice on my own. But dude, it's totally inaccurate. And then couple that, I was also thinking too, like choices that like we don't make because like it's not that we're not making like, oh, let me give you an example, it'll make more sense. I remember like going to college, right? Like choosing your discipline and all, like I don't feel like I really made much of a choice. I feel like I like fell into it, if that makes more sense. Because I wasn't even sure about going to college. It just seemed like the only option at the time.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so
and
that
it's not
didn't
even
feel like
like
a
you can make
choice.
a it's not
Yeah.
even like you can make a choice because it's like, what, do you like sciences? Okay, fine. You should study biology or chemistry. And it's like, well, what happens if you like bullfrogs or something like that and that's
Yeah.
it? Like, I mean,
You ain't
yeah.
doing that in undergrad, that's what happens.
Mm-mm. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we just get pigeonholed to do all types of stuff, and I don't think we even know we're making choices half of the time.
No, it's funny too because you read like, it's such a like a strong contrast. Like when you read the existentialists, they talk about like the existential dread, the anxiety of these choices and all. But then you think of regular life and it's like most of us, that's not the case, I don't think, because we're not even consciously thinking of our choices that much.
No, we're trying to select the better of two bad options.
Yeah, or like the least amount of discomfort, right? Like in that
Yeah.
moment. And I wonder too, like, are we like doing ourselves a disservice then? Are we, is it that we're not living the life we really want to live? Because that's the other side of it, which is like, it's hard. Making your own choices is difficult. It means going against the grain. It means thinking things through, taking responsibility, being accountable for yourself and for your future. And those are hard things
Hmm.
to do too, instead of like, blame, victimization, and following the crowd.
Yeah. I've been reading that book again, Finding Your Own North Star by Martha
That's
Beck.
a good
And it's
one.
crazy because yeah, she talks a whole bunch about like listening to your body and stuff. And I've been using that book to prompt ChatGPT to prompt me to find my own North Star. And it's crazy how often I go against what my body is saying because that's what I think I should do. That's like what
Oh,
society thinks
dude.
I should do. That's the right thing to do.
Well, how many times have you like needed a break, like you're burnt out, you're tired, but then you're also anxious and need to do something because you feel like from the culture, like you got to grind, you got to keep going, right? And it's like that's
Hmm.
totally contradictory. I really like that book though, because her point made a lot of sense. Like dude, going to work was like the hardest thing when I was really depressed and needed a change. And it was like my body was literally telling me like this is wrong for you. And I wasn't
Yeah.
listening. You know? It's kind
Yep.
of crazy. That like and I wonder how many people are going through that right now. Like waking up, having a hard time getting up, right? Yeah. Hitting the alarm 8 times because you don't want to get out of bed because you
Yeah.
don't want to face the day. And it's like
Dude,
you
and
need a
and
change.
it's the worst too because when you're feeling low, it's your body remembers all the other times when things didn't work out. So you're like, why would I even bother trying something different because of all these times when it didn't work out? And like I
Yeah.
have these examples that are just all coming back to me now because I'm feeling like garbage.
Yeah, isn't that funny how like it snowballs so fast? But then you have the flip side too, though. Even when I think like you make your like, there is definitely like I notice like switching like careers and all like now, like I definitely like what I'm doing a lot more, and I enjoy it. And
Hmm.
but there's still like even with that though, there's still all those fears and stuff of like, was it the right choice? Is this gonna work out? All that stuff that makes it so hard sometimes to keep going too in that direction that you chose. It's really
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fears never go away. Like I look back at it because we're getting older now. And
We
so I
are.
look back I look back at those things that like I thought that that would kind of settle things for me. And then I wouldn't have to deal with that anymore. And those fears would be gone and those worries would be gone. And they just never go. They just keep cropping up in a different way.
Yeah, every time I think they're gonna be gone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm mature, I'm done with this stuff, they come back every freaking
Hmm.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think people can do to try to make their own choices?
Read that book, Finding Your Own North Star by Martha
That is the
Beck.
one. Yeah.
Hmm.
That actually it was funny because I never really thought about like it's actually so funny how stupid it is. I mean, how commonsensical it is, but like I never thought that like your own body would be telling you. That
Hmm.
like how you feel could correlate to like, oh, maybe the choices you should make.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or The Artist's Way. That was another good one.
I
Yeah.
like that too because I think that idea too of planning like outings for yourself, which like artistic things, but they could be anything, was a good way too to
Hmm.
like get into like making choices for yourself. Planning that time to do something you want to do that's actually for you rather than like what you
Hmm.
have to do or what you feel obligated to do or blah 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 blah.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
also having ChatGPT ask you questions one at a time to help you find your direction.
It's funny. I just read an article. They're talking about the amount of people now using ChatGPT in lieu of psychologists and for mental health
Because
stuff.
it
And it's
does
like,
such a better job.
yeah, yeah. And because it's so expensive to go in
Oh
this
my
country that
God,
it makes
yeah.
sense.
Psychologists are crazy expensive. Like I
Yeah,
always look, because all like the feeling good stuff, I was like, I would really like to go to one of these guys because they could probably help me with a whole bunch of stuff. But they're charging $1,000 an hour.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just
dude. It's
like, that's
insane.
absurd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like nothing, And it's because they
Yeah.
can, which is
Hmm.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just programmed ChatGPT to do it instead for $20 a month.
Yeah, right. And you get infinite amount of hours that you want.
Dude,
Yeah,
and it doesn't get tired. It doesn't get like I mean, I remember when I used to go to therapy, it was like I think it was like $200 a session or something like that. But
yeah.
like the dude had his own crazy ego problems and like he
Well,
just had
yeah.
like his own crazy shit going on that he would always bring up in my sessions. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, they're also
Yeah.
people. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So like I mean, that's the crazy part. Like, even if you go to the best guy in the country for it and pay $1,000 for that hour, he could have had a
Yeah.
bad morning or a bad
Uh-huh.
week, and that's going to be a crappy session. And I think people forget that everybody is a person. They're not going to perform perfect every time. So it's like you're stuck with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my suggestions for what people can do. What ideas do you have?
I think listening to yourself is a good one. I think also like, and I know this is hard, but just not being afraid to do your own thing. And it's
Yeah.
hard, but finding like, it is, I think at the end of the day, it's better to live your own life than to let other people live it for you. And as hard as it is,
Yeah.
making those decisions and starting to make them, but starting small, you can build yourself up to like where you're actually doing it, all the time.
Mhm. That's a good one. And like I think we should go back to what you were saying, listen to yourself, because it's something that you can just say like, yeah, just listen to yourself, but it really is like when oftentimes the things that you're telling yourself are so freaking quiet and
Yeah.
it's so like so minute, so little that you really don't know because most of the time when I'm really like especially with the stuff I've been doing with finding your own North Star and everything, it's really just like, well, maybe that's the answer. Like maybe that's just the direction I should go because everything else and like that's kind of what it is. It's like following listening for a cat's footprints in the dark or something like
Well,
that.
because
You know?
it's not going to be a rational argument or a clear yes, no, right? It's like a suggestion that your body's making almost. But the other part of it that's
Hmm.
hard too is I think we've been trained not to listen to it, not to listen to
Uh-huh.
our bodies. Because, our
Oh
whole
yeah.
lives we've been told, well, that's just how you get there, right? You gotta just put your head down and blah, 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 blah.
Dude, grind. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just
I've
it though. I
been
think
yeah.
we all got caught up in that and trained not to listen. And so it kind of makes sense that it's hard at first.
Dude, that's like my life exactly now because I've been stuck on this grind train for the past like 20 years. And then now I've reached like this week I was at the gym and I had just changed my workouts from like an hour to about 2 hours so that I could do less workouts. And I was just like physically exhausted. I'm like, no, but I wrote down this workout. I need to
Yeah.
do all of it. And I was like, my body's saying freaking stop.
Yeah.
Like it's about time I just listen
But
and just
that's just
stop.
it though, right? Like that, you get it's hard to break those habits though. It's like just like I was saying before, dude, like I was, I was sick like and getting over it and like getting angry at myself for not doing enough during the day. I'm like, well, I don't feel good though. So it's like it doesn't make any like it's not like I'm gonna sit down and do like productive work or anything, when you're really
Hmm.
sick. So it's like, why am I mad at myself? But you're mad at yourself because exactly that, right? You trained yourself to think that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Cool.
hard part.
So
It's
that's it.
breaking a lot of habits. Yeah. Well, there you
Hmm.
have it. You know, why are you really making your own choices? Ask yourself, maybe start doing it. Who knows what can happen? If you guys have any
Hmm.
suggestions for episodes, you can email us or you can leave a comment on YouTube. We'll be back later this week with another episode. Until then, though, later, Randy.
Later, Danny.